So okay, let's pass now to our seventh point, the locking mechanisms and adapters. This is very important because from my experience, it's been a nightmare to try to understand the different types. And finally now I know how to move, how to try to find the right solution when I find a new tape and don't go in panic and I don't know what to do. Now I can practically play back every single darn type of tape. Because there are a lot of types of adapters and attachments and locking mechanisms, which I think it's difficult to understand in the beginning. So first of all, I just want to show you here. Let's just see the normal machine, the naked machine. As you can see, very simple mechanism. Here, this is the basic type. It's called Chine. Which comes from the cinematic type of attachment. A typical attachment of this type is the one I showed you before. Here it is. This one. Just a simple triangle, we could say. You find the right position and then you just lock it like this way. You pull the locking screw and then you can unlock it. This is good mainly for small reels. When you have big reels, I don't know. Usually you find it associated to the 10.5-inch reels when they're made of plastic. Then maybe that can do. But there are other solutions which are much better. Now we'll take a look at them. As we have seen instead here, we have this other solution, which is usually adopted for the open types of reels that we've seen before. I showed you before, the so-called pancakes, which does not have any kind of spool, of reel, of metal or plastic reel around the tape, which is a little more risky because you have the tape completely exposed. But I think it's a little more easier, and in the professional environment, I've seen that usually that type is adopted. When you buy a master tapes or production copies, they usually are in that shape. Also because as I said before, the metal spools, the metal reels are extremely expensive. So here, this is the basic aeg-din, aeg-din, as we say in Europe. And this is the Chine. There's also another one, the nab. Now we'll see it. But I just wanted to show you how this can be used, adapt, if you have a normal Chine type of attachment. You just have to find the correct position. This platter also have two little protruding bars that need to be inserted in the two holes in the machine. When that's locked in, you click this, and you can also, there you go, pull out the locking mechanism, and that way your tape is nice and fixed. And you'll do the same thing with this, or if you want, but I told you not to do it, using a different normal metal reel, like this one. You can also put it this. But how are you going to put this there? Very simple. I'll show you. We have the most important of all among the adapters, the so-called NAB adapter, which was used by the National American Broadcast Association. So, in fact, most tapes are gonna use this basic type of locking mechanism. As you can see, it's almost like a triangle. Very easily, when you have these large spindle holes, you just put it like this, and then you turn this clockwise, and that's it. It's very easy. That's why it's very present in broadcasting systems, in master recording, etc. So this is among the most easily found. But as I said, as soon as you find pancakes, you cannot use this anymore. Or can you? Actually, you can. I just wanted to show you a cooler model of this, which is a typical sign-off, we could say, of the Studer machines of Revox, which are with these nice knobs to hold on, which practically are just more easily insertable if you have this. So you can click in and click out very easily a metal reel. So for example, you just put this on, there we go, locked it. Then we put this, our take-up spool, click, and that's the typical look of a reel-to-reel tape recorder and its reels. But as I was saying, there is another possibility, which is, it's hard, but I think it's very interesting. When we have this type of a pancake mounted, in some cases we need, let's see if I can lock this again, there we go. In some cases we need to mount an NAB type of reel, which can be, as we said, open like this, or also closed like this in a spool, or also open. Now the tape is not here. Just this is the core, the center part, which is supposed to have tape around it. This is very rare. I mean, you're not going to find this type of solution, this type of pancake, where you have this, the NAB attachment, and your tape around it. But sometimes you do find this. And what's the solution? I mean, if you have already this mounted, the fantastic solution is something like this, which I found on internet. I think it's fantastic. It's a Polish group that are developing these. This is all made by machines, fantastic quality, not very expensive. I will put the description link, the links in the video description here below. And as you can see, very simply, you just click this in, and practically you have an NAB adapter ready to be inserted on an aeg-din type of a pancake. So if you have this set, you're practically set it. I mean, you have everything. This type, this type of pancake, and obviously the NAB, the classic NAB type, besides the chine. See? So now you have all these types. Check the play again this video, otherwise you're not going to understand everything, I bet, because there's so many types. It's difficult to understand, but I think you've got an idea of all this. Okay, so let's see our 8th point, which I just want to briefly show a few examples of tapes. I think they're interesting, and they can give us some topics to discuss about. I just wanted to show you, for example, this tape I got off eBay from Peru. This is a true production copy of an album called Blues and Electronics plus Electronics. Here's an image. And I was very happy about this, because this was a production tape of a true LP, the LP 20002. And I've seen that it's actually the true production copy for that country, for Peru. The bad thing is that this tape suffers from, apart being a very bad acetate tape in bad condition, terrible reel in plastic. As you can see, the chine attachment, a trident also we can call it, not only chine, trident attachment, I forgot to say that. And it has a very bad smell, which that is a particular disease, we could call it, of the tape. I think it's called the vinegar disease, the vinegar smell disease. I'll write the correct name here below. So be careful. I showed you this to be careful of what you're buying, because obviously this was sold as a production copy, so it wasn't cheap. It wasn't cheap, guys. And after I discovered this, obviously I got really mad with the guy who sold this to me, and unfortunately he did refund me. But not that doesn't happen every time. So this was a very bad experience. I was very happy to have this, and the sound quality is rather bad. I'm keeping it just as a memory of this, but I'm not gonna play it because it's terrible. I mean, a CD was probably better than this. So again, be careful what you're buying. in the past months, a couple of years ago, I bought a batch of tapes just for €20, and they were all master tapes of this closed now label, Kyrios. I also sold a few of these on eBay, and there were a lot of interesting master tapes. Usually just portions of different kinds of concerts, classical music, etc. Nothing complete, so nothing special actually. But the quality was pretty good. As you can see, I think you can see it. This is an AGFA tape, so this it's not that recent, but it's not even that old. See, 1990. And the cool thing of this, as you can see here, is this master tape, as you can see, it's original, is 30" per second, which is not that easy to find. And I must say that the sound of this Quintana group is fantastic. It's very, very good. You can really have you can sense how the sound reproduction is much more faithful to a true concert. It is amazing when you have this kind of speed with tape. Here I wanted to show you a nice production of International Phonograph Inc. Although I will do an in-depth tape video, I just wanted to show you this. This is a guy who has been recording a lot of tapes. He's very good. He's mainly dedicated to all the different kinds of instruments of ensemble music, jazz, blues. And these recordings are very good, and I must say not too expensive, although master tapes do cost a lot, unfortunately. And as you can see, this is a nice, very nice example of a nice, very compact, flat polyester tape with its nice reel at a decent price of a modern artist. So very cool, I think. If you're in America, go for it. Free shipping. I have to spend an arm and a leg to get them here to Italy. Here instead, I bought this many years ago on eBay. This is a true copy master from Decca. This is nothing special, just it's the title of the album. I've checked on Amazon. The album does exist. It's called Opera Highlights. It has various artists. And as you can see, it's a copy master. It also tells you all the different kinds of information related to the tape, which I think it's fun to know. It was done in '84. Here you can see this unfortunately happens at a certain point in tape production. It used Dolby A system. Now, noise reduction system, when you're talking about magnetic tape, reel-to-reel magnetic tape, unfortunately requires a piece of gear in order to decode the signal. Otherwise, you cannot play this back. We'll get back on this on the noise reduction types regarding magnetic tape in the future. Here, very nice. You can see a stamp where you can find the different elements to properly set the master recorder in order to play back this tape. So exactly how many pips left and right, the frequency, how many decibels, plus the tone, the type of tones that you can find at the beginning. A lot of these master tapes have recorded tones on them, which is very useful if you need to duplicate them or simply calibrate the machine in order to have optimal playback. That is very useful. And apart from that, there are a few information on the different titles, and that's about it. I think it's nice, it's interesting. As you can see here, again, we have a pancake of AGFA. The typical aeg-din adapter has usually these two colors, which is actually the AGFA colors, the gray and or green and red. As you can see here, there's a lot of splicing, which means that maybe, I don't know if this is a copy actually, because if there's all this splicing in the middle, that means that the who produced who edited this tape did take different pieces of tape and put it all together in order to create this this master. I don't know. It's strange if it's a copy. I don't think it's a copy actually, because otherwise it wouldn't have all this splicing. But you never know. You never know. I'm not an expert in these things. Here it does say copy master. Another interesting case, again from eBay, is this one. This is a true production copy of a fantastic album, sort of Irish type of music. It's composed by 2 tapes. I'm always showing you just one. This is the real number 1, produced by Q Studios in England. And this was the production tape. As you can see, you can, again, 1 kilohertz, 10 kilohertz, and 100 kilohertz tone at the beginning. It also says the speed you need to cut the vinyl record. As you can see, 33 1/3 revolutions per minute. And the artist, Belzebub. Here's an image of that vinyl record, which is fantastic. It was recorded in '82. Fantastic sound. What is the problem? The problem is the tape. Unfortunately, this is an Ampex tape, which is an excellent brand, made in America mainly. But unfortunately, the Ampex, at a certain point, had a very bad issue, very bad problem, which actually is one of the biggest problems in the record industry. What am I talking about? The sticky syndrome. Unfortunately, the formula they used for their oxide on this type, on all the quantity tapes, and a lot of this is, I think it's the 456 Grandmaster, but many others suffer from this syndrome. Not necessarily, not all of them, but most of them do. What does this mean? Well, when you play it back, it's a nightmare, because the oxide comes off and attaches itself on all the tape paths, on the heads, and because it's completely sticky. The oxide is very, very sticky. It just melted off of the film. So it's a nightmare then to clean back all your equipment at that point. So the best thing is probably to buy them. You can find them for cheap, but remember that they have sticky syndrome when you see Ampex. In most cases, they're going to have sticky syndrome. But you can play them once, duplicate them if you have 2 recording machines, and just keep it for good, for as a souvenir, and play the copy, because otherwise you don't want to clean your heads and all the tape, etc., all the parts of your recorder every time. That's a complete nightmare. Here I have another nice example of a master tape. I just bought this in Italy from a guy. This must be very old. The condition of the tape, I showed you this before just to show you the badly rewinded tape here. But it's an excellent piece of history. I think it's fun to discover these things on eBay, etc., because you can find them sometimes for very cheap. Not usually, not often, but sometimes they do. And when you do, you have a piece of history in your hands, of recorded music at its best quality possible. Again, even this was used to make some vinyl records during the past century. Okay, so now let's pass to our 9th point, and we'll take a look briefly at a few models of master recorders. The best ones probably, but not only. Let's take a look.
Okay, in this part of the video, we're going to quickly go through the main master tape recorders of the main brands produced in the last century that made the history of this type of format. So the starting point is, without any doubt, the Studer machines. And the first main master recorder of success is the Studer C37. Here you can see a fantastic example. As you can see, it's all vacuum tube powered and amplified, and this, according to a lot of people, is the best of the best. It's the first, but has also remained the best. The quality of the sound is still highly regarded and highly searched. And this was produced from 1961 all the way down to 1970. So a long time for a master recorder. So let's proceed. Here is the German answer of Studer. Studer is a Swiss company. While Telefunken is a German company which got very famous as well for their master recorders, and this is the M10, which was produced mainly during the same years in Germany. Also, this model is highly regarded, and it is a fantastic example of the high quality of these machines which were built in Europe in those years. But let's proceed. Here we can see the most famous, probably the most famous model of Studer, the A80. The majority of records you have at home have been mastered on this machine, guys. Yes. I was about to get this, and in the end I just went for my Telefunken M15, which is coming up, because the sound in playback is better after all. But if you need to record, this is the way to go. This is the best recorder, absolutely. And this was produced starting from 1967 all the way down to 1988, so that's a really long time. So let's proceed. After this is my Telefunken, the Magnetophone 15 or M15. Fantastic, was present in most of the broadcast facilities in Germany, but also in lots of part of Europe. And there are lots of models, as you can imagine. Very simple mechanism, but very, very tough, strong, and reliable. And the sound is fantastic, especially in playback, as I said before. This, again, was produced mainly in the same years because this was the German answer to the A80. Let's go ahead. In America, what was happening? In America, we have their own products, which is mainly dominated by the Ampex recorders, master recorders. Here you can see the ATR 102. The most famous is the 100, the ATR 100, but it's very similar to this. And I must say that obviously a lot of American recordings have been done also on this, besides the Studer machines. And this more or less was introduced around the mid-70s. Here we can see one of the top evolutions of the A80 of Studer. This is actually probably one of the favorite on my list, is the A820 of Studer. One of the best master recorders ever built. This was introduced in 1984, and again, this is one of the best, and as you can imagine, one of the most expensive you can find. I just want to talk about another brand, very famous, another Swiss brand actually, Nagra, and they have been producing mainly portable master recorders, or portable recorders. One of the most famous is this one, the 4S. I had one of these a few years ago, actually just 1 year ago, 2 years ago, and I sold it because I wasn't using it, because this is mainly to record things on the go. It was used a lot in the cinematography world and things like that, and the sound is fantastic. It's amazing. It's one of the best portable machines on earth, absolutely. And the 4S, which is the best of the Nagra portables, was introduced in 1971. Let's proceed, though. Again, I just wanted to conclude the Nagra experience with one of actually, I think the only master recorded studio they ever built, which is the Nagra-t. And the Nagra-t is among, according to a few, the best for recording, actually. As you can see, there's tons of commands. It's a very complex machine, but it is highly regarded for the best dubbing and recording, actually. And this little guy was introduced in 1981. Going ahead up the line, we're starting to find the newer models. For example, Telefunken, which merged with AEG, started to produce other master recorders, the M20 like this one, or the M21, during the 1980s. And in these machines we have a lot of automatic features. So calibration, all the problems that we discussed before, a lot of these are been taken care automatically. So this could be a way to go, although the sound of these new master recorders is less appealing than the ones before. Ask anybody. Proceeding down the line, another excellent automatic machine is the Otari, the Japan House Otari, like this MTR-15, which was produced in 1985. And again, it's very similar, for example, to the Telefunken. A lot of things are automatic, as I said, and these are all excellent master recorders, absolutely. Almost at the end of the line, we also have to mention this little jewel of Sony, which came a little late. This one was introduced in the late 1980s, and this is also an excellent recorder, which is completely automatic. You can't go wrong in playback and also in recording. Everything is automatically set. It's fantastic from that point of view. And just to conclude our rapid landscape of the best recorders out there, we have to speak of the last last excellent model of Studer, the A816. This was as I said, practically one of the last best recorders on earth, and these are extremely expensive, highly regarded, top-notch, absolutely. You know it.
Okay, now we'll go to our last and 10th point. We're just gonna play one or two tapes and have fun. We're gonna use the video camera microphone. I'm not gonna make a transposition. It's enough, more than enough, just to get a clue of what's going on, of the sound and the reverberation of the environment. So let's take a look. Okay, so let's try to play a tape on our Studer. First of all, let's turn it on. Select the input. We're going to play a master tape copy of Relaxin' with the Miles Davis Quintet. Very nice copy. I don't know, again, maybe second, third, fourth generation, who knows, but the quality, I must say, it's very, very good. I'm very happy with it. So let's hear. You usually store tapes in plastic bags. It's a good idea to save it from humidity, mainly from humidity. And you never know, you might spill water or something on it. You never know. It's always better to do that. So as we can see, this is a good example of a tails out. So we're gonna have to put our tape on the right spool. We're gonna fix it in position. We're gonna make the tape go through its path. Tension arm. There we go. And onto the pickup reel, which at this point is going to be now the left one. Fix it in position. There's always this little recession where you can put the tape, wind it a little bit by hand. And at this point I will rewind it and play it. I will fast forward this for ya. Okay, I just realized that this tape has a German wind. I forgot about this. So that's why you see the tape reversed this way. I will explain better in detail what's a German wind in a future video. Let's just hear now. These are the first tones. Okay, let's listen to this part where Coltrane kicks in. Okay guys, we've come to the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please post here below in the comments your questions, your suggestions, and I would also say let's get in touch for master tape copies. I mean, if somebody's willing to trade, why not? I mean, this is a fun hobby. It's very expensive, so if there's a possibility to exchange, why not? Thank you again for watching, and hope to see you soon. Bye guys. Ciao!